The motorsports world is where legends are made, the unthinkable happens, and barriers are broken. One man harnesses the power of an industry every week. This is the General Tire Down and Dirty Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with Jim Beaver.
Welcome to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I am Jim Beaver here, your host, just like I have been for almost 10 years now, keeping it locked and loaded. Welcome to everybody tuning in on Sirius XM Channel 211, Dan Patrick Radio, Sports Byline, the U.S. American Forces Network, Podcast One, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, downanddirtyshow.com, Spreaker, everywhere else you can listen to this show. Our local affiliates, man, we are all over the place. But, yes, thank you guys for tuning in. It is one hell of a big show that we've got today. We are pulling out all the stops, massive, slam-packed show delivered right for your listening enjoyment this weekend. We have none other than IndyCar owner Ed Carpenter, also Indy 500 pole sitter. Yes, Ed Carpenter is going to be on the show today. He's also my esports co-partner in our new IRX team. So we got Ed Carpenter on the show. Then we've got Kelly Crandall from Racer Magazine. She's also a podcaster herself. She's going to be calling in. We're going to dissect the NASCAR calendar. And then for you off-road fans, hour number 2 is all about off-road. Starting off in hour number 2. Got my good friend Matt Martelli with Mad Media, the man behind the Mint 400, as well as this coming weekend's UTV World Championship. He's going to be on the show to tell us all about the big event coming up, some of the celebrity guests, and how you can tune in or show up and enjoy the action. And then to cap it off, we got a big one, a good friend of mine, one of the baddest dudes in desert racing, Mr. Dan McMillan, coming off an overall victory at the Baja 500 in Mexico last weekend. Dan, we got him locked in for 2 segments to talk about the world of desert racing, trophy trucks, and that epic victory that got the monkey off his back he just took a week ago down in San Felipe at the Baja 500. Probably talk a little bit about the Baja 1000 that's here to come. And, off-road. It's a crazy place right now, and we'll use Dan to help us dissect, what's going on in the world of off-road. So, yeah, let me tell you, full-packed show today, pulling out all the stops, 4 guests. Also, I've got some time to take some fan questions. If you got some fan questions, hit me up. It's at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I would love to get those questions answered in the show. If you DM me on other forms of social media, I probably won't get to them until afterwards, so we'll have to cycle those in for next week's show. But thanks to all of you for tuning in. It is going to be one great 2 hours of radio coming at you right here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Trust me, you don't want to go anywhere. Things are just getting started cranking. Whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in wet and dry conditions, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the all-new G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, cruising with the Down and Dirty Radio Show since 2012. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Conditions off the pavement are always changing, so why settle for a light bar that just turns on and off? The Rigid Adapt is a revolutionary new light bar that will automatically select from 8 beam patterns that range from a widespread 90-degree flood to a 15-degree spot based on your vehicle's speed. Try that with your knockoff light bar. A dash-mounted controller allows the user to toggle between adaptive mode, beam patterns, and RGBW accent lighting. With Adapt, it's easier than ever to own the night.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. When looking for a new wheel for your off-road vehicle, car, truck, or UTV, the choice is easy. You choose what the pros use. Rob McCachran, Keegan Kincaid, and myself, Jim Beaver, all exclusively use Vision Wheel, whether we're dominating Baja, taking the cup at Crandon, or shredding UTVs. Vision Wheel's trend-setting designs and durability will set you apart from the competition and your friends. Check out visionwheel.com or at Vision Wheel on social media to learn more.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back here to the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, cranking away in the studio. We have we got a big week upon us, big weekend. I mean, we got IndyCar racing. We just got done with the Baja 500. Heading into the UTV World Championship next weekend that I will be racing. I mean, we are lock-loaded. It is we got a lot going on in the world of motorsports. I mean, Crandon just wrapped up. We crowned some champions there in the Midwest. We've had some Ultra 4 racing. It was a big month of September. I mean, you start thinking about it. We had Lucas with a triple header. We had 2 Crandon events in addition to the big one there. On Sunday at Labor Day, obviously, between NASCAR, NHRA, everything else going on. And then, we got Formula D kicking back off and, Baja 500 going on. It's, Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series with that triple header we mentioned. I mean, we got some rally coming up. It's kind of crazy. Like we said earlier, we were doing this show this spring going, oh, this is crickets. We don't even have a whole hell of a lot to talk about. Now, it's almost like we got too much. In a show like this, we got 4 guests, and, we're trying to cram everything into a 2-hour show, and it definitely could be a 3-hour show this week, and definitely a good time to be a motorsports fan. That's for sure. And, that being said, though, I got the UTV World Championship coming up in a week, and, I haven't talked too much about it. We'll have Matt Martelli on in hour number 2 to talk about that event here on the show. But, big thing is I actually was able to go out and pre-run that earlier this week. Had my co-driver Bryant come with me, and then had Mia Chapman, who I manage. She's running the NA class, and her co-driver Erica Sachs, who's a world-class athlete. She came on, out too, and we went and did it. I got to tell you, this is 29 miles of hell. It is a tough UTV course. I don't know that I've ever raced on anything quite like it. Some sections you'd almost think it's meant for a dirt bike. It's a little bit of rock crawling, some really, really technical type terrain, really tough to get around some of the corners in a 4-seat car like I was in. It's got me really excited for race day. I think it's definitely going to separate, the real racers from the pretenders. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to destroy your equipment out there, and I'm really, really kind of excited about it. It's not often that an all-new off-road race and event comes to the world of off-road. It's few and far between. We've only got so much open land, so many opportunities to actually race. And for something like this, I mean, this terrain's never been raced on before. To actually be able to be put together and us go out and race it, I mean, that's got me pumped. It's got me amped. I mean, there's going to be one heck of a fun time come race week next week. And so, they've got all the festivities that you would see at the Mint, but it's, here for the UTV Worlds. And, it's going to be a fun event. So, I know we'll talk about it with Matt Martelli, but I'm just telling you, if you're in the area, head out to Lake Havasu this weekend. This coming weekend, check out the UTV Worlds racing on Friday and Saturday. You got the UTV Festival on Thursday. I think that extends through the weekend as well. But it's going to be probably one of the biggest events of the year. We got people coming from all over the country out, some of the best UTV drivers in the world, and I really, really think this one's going to be huge. I'm excited about it. I'm racing in a new division, so that's got me pumped as well. It's definitely going to be an epic good time, and can't wait to get out there and get things dirty in the dirt in Lake Havasu, especially on this crazy course that they've got laid out. So, that's kind of one of the big things that's coming up. But in addition to that, man, we got to talk. I'm an IndyCar guy. NASCAR, we're going to jump into that with Kelly Crandall, talking about that schedule. She's coming up here after the break. We're going to talk about the NASCAR schedule. But IndyCar switching it up, too, with their schedule and running something a little bit different. A little lighter on ovals, a little heavier on the road courses, bringing in that new race in Nashville. I got to tell you, Nashville's got me pumped. Pumped to get out there to Nashville. That brand new Grand Prix there. Unique, diverse track. I think unlike we've ever seen before in IndyCar. And running a little bit different format. A couple times in Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the GP course. Doubleheader at Texas. Obviously Long Beach is going to be back. Sorely missed that this year. But IndyCar pulling out all the stops, shaking it up, running an all new schedule and calendar for next year. It's unfortunate for oval fans that they're going to be a little light on the ovals, but I really, really think this is shaping up to be one hell of a 2021 for IndyCar. And from what I understand too, it's going to be a lot of cars on the grid. I know most motorsports are hurting. It sounds like IndyCar may actually be expanding their grid and having more full-time entries in 2021, which really is unheard of right now with sponsorship dollars, things like that. But it seems like IndyCar, they've got something good going for them, and seems to be working into their favor. And I know last week we talked about my good friend Zach Veach, big friend of the show, and he had lost his seat there at Andretti, and he's looking for a ride for next year. But sounds like James Hinchcliffe may slot in and take that next year if they can find the funding. But one of the bigger stories coming out is now with the McLaren team, Helio Castroneves is going to be filling in one of the seats there for an injured driver. And here you've got a legend, one of the greatest of all times, and Helio is going to be running in that McLaren car. I mean, first time we've seen him in forever run anything that wasn't a Penske car. I mean, Penske pretty much defined his career, but now we're going to see him in, in that McLaren, which I think is interesting. You've got one of the youngest guns who's in a fight for this points championship paired with a veteran potentially next year of Helio Castroneves' caliber. And, man, you want to talk about good things coming out of that program. I could see massive things happening, for that program. A guy like Sebastian Bourdais, he's got to find, he's got a home full time there at AJ Foyt Racing next year. So, that's going to be some big news. But man, I don't know, IndyCar, it's going to be interesting. Now the big, I guess the biggest weight we've got is going to be potentially be the NHRA calendar and finding out what that looks like. I have no idea. I heard they're going to shake things up. Rumor is NHRA is really putting a plan in place to be successful for the long haul. They don't want things like 2020 to ever happen again. So I think we're going to see some changes to events formats and the way NHRA operates. But really excited to see what happens for them. And then, it sounds like Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. Little rumors I've heard potentially is that, Lucas Oil is going to go to a spring series and run 3 races, but it's going to be 3 triple-header weekends. So 9 total rounds of racing over 3 weekends in the spring. So drivers will be able to do that Lucas Oil Spring Series and then turn around and run the entire championship off-road calendar in the, in the summer and fall. Sounds like they're looking to expand their calendar past the 5 events they currently have and add a few more into the mix. So I think, off-road is going to be an interesting calendar, and I think for short course racers, might be the first time in a long time that they can run for a good portion of the year and, run 2 full championships and not have any conflicts, and I think that's going to be huge if that, in fact, actually does happen. And, to Lucas Oil's credit, making that shift, obviously they didn't have Pro 4s this year, but once they do make that shift, it's going to lend itself to allowing Pro 4s to run both series. So we may see Pro 4s back in action in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series, which has me really excited, and then we're also going to see, it seems like the UTV divisions, you got a great crop of UTV drivers, people like Corey Weller, Miles Cheek running on the West Coast. They don't run in the Midwest. You got the phenomenal drivers like Andrew Carlson, Jason Luberg, CJ Greaves. They don't run on the West Coast. Now maybe we're going to see this super series of UTVs going back and forth across the country doing battle, and that's got me excited, as a UTV fan and a fan of that discipline. So I don't know, not only that, that, we've got Dakar news coming out of Polaris RZR. We talked about it last week. Now all of a sudden the driver roster was announced earlier this week. I mean, we got Wayne and Kristen Matlock and Craig Scanlon. They're going to be manning the Team RZR at the Dakar Rally. So we've got that big story with those three huge athletes. I mean, this is a massive show. We got a ton to talk about today, and we're just diving into things. So coming up after the break is going to be Kelly Crandall. Then we have an IndyCar team owner and driver, Ed Carpenter, and then Matt Martelli and Dan McMillan, all here on the General Tire Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris.